So New Jersey has the most progressive environmental protection laws in the country. I know, because I wrote them. Even though, or maybe because, the district I represented had the highest concentration of petrochemical companies in the world, I sponsored the most progressive environmental protection laws in the nation. You couldn't drive through my district, Elizabeth, Carteret, Rahway, Linden. You couldn't drive through it without holding your nose. It was that bad. But my first venture into environmental protection was located 100 miles away, the Pinelands. Governor Burns' effort to protect and preserve the Pinelands was fiercely opposed by development interests and concerns over the loss of local control. The strong land use controls imposed by the Pinelands legislation protected over 1 million acres of New Jersey's forests, streams, and rivers, which stretched across all southern New Jersey. The Cohansey Aquifer contains over 17 trillion gallons of pure water. That's enough water to cover the entire state of New Jersey 10 feet. That's how important that aquifer is to us. This underground reservoir feeds most of the area's streams, supports the agriculture industry, and provides drinking water for hundreds of thousands of people. They were all in danger of contamination, degradation, and destruction by unbridled development. In an effort to bring attention to the importance of protecting the Pinelands to New Jersey residents, I organized a canoe trip for reporters along the Mullica River. Oh, you know the story. Because during the canoe trip, I tipped my canoe. Not once, with the reporters in it, not once. Not once, but twice. The headline in the Star-Ledger the next day was, "You can take the boy out of Elizabeth, but you can't take Elizabeth out of the boy." Well, it was not a good example of canoeing. It exposed North Jersey residents and legislators of the need to protect this vast, pristine, and sensitive region from the threats of pollution by unregulated development. For over 3 decades, the Pinelands Commission has enforced a comprehensive management plan which has adhered to the goal of the Pinelands Protection Act. I also established the Pinelands Development Credit Bank, so development and job creation could be directed in the Pinelands area in a responsible manner consistent with its comprehensive management plan. Economic development and environmental protection are not inconsistent. They enhance each other. Now, however, thanks to Governor Christie stacking the Pinelands Commission with his appointees, the pristine nature of the Pinelands is again threatened. I'm proud of my vote against the appointment of Bob Barr to the Pinelands Commission to replace Robert Jackson, a staunch supporter of preserving the Pinelands from harmful development. Now, after working with Governor Burns to pass the Pinelands Protection Act, the most far-reaching environmental protection law in the state, I sponsored ECRA, the most far-reaching environmental protection law in the nation. ECRA required that industrial properties receive a clean bill of health prior to any sale. ECRA proved again you can have economic development along with environmental protection. The realtors, developers, and bankers who fought so hard against my effort to pass ECRA came to believe and understand that ECRA was good for business. ECRA made New Jersey a safe and healthy place for businesses and their employees. New Jersey had another serious problem. We were in bad shape those days. Abandoned hazardous dump sites with no responsible parties to clean them up. Before the federal Superfund was enacted, I sponsored a surcharge on petrochemical companies to clean up these abandoned dump sites. And when Exxon and other petrochemical companies refused to pay into the fund, claiming that my law was preempted by the federal Superfund Act, I made them pay. I personally sued and got a judgment against them. Round 1 for the people of the state of New Jersey. Round two will also be won for the people of the state of New Jersey when I get the ExxonMobil settlement overturned. My next venture into groundbreaking environmental protection legislation was the Safe Drinking Water Act. It may surprise you, it certainly surprised me. There were no federal testing or standards at all. No federal or state standards for hydrocarbons in drinking water. None. It was shocking. So I sponsored the Safe Drinking Water Act, which established testing requirements and standards and created the Water Quality Institute to keep up to date the regulations over potential hazardous contamination in our drinking water. The Safe Drinking Water Act is why we have safe drinking water today. My comprehensive environmental protection policies included, as Ed said, the Clean Air Act, upgrading the Clean Air Act and the Pesticide Control Act, and established strict oversight over the solid and hazardous waste disposal industries. That was a little bit dangerous in those days, especially if you're from Elizabeth. In addition to being dominated by organized crime, these industries were major sources of illegal dumping, which created more contamination of our land and waterways. We still have a lot to do to protect our environment. Governor Christie has tried and sometimes succeeded in rolling back the environmental protection laws that have made New Jersey a healthy place in which to live and a safe place to do business. Yesterday, Ed was there. John McKeon is going to be the Assembly sponsor. I sponsored a Senate concurrent resolution to reject DEP's proposed regulations, which will increase flooding and degrade water quality and the ecosystem, protecting fish and habitat throughout the state. Surprise, surprise. Remember that Bruce Springsteen song, Surprise, Surprise? Everybody know that? Okay. But, by the way, I did grow up underneath that giant Exxon sign. It will only take a majority vote of both houses to reject these proposed regulations. The governor does not have a veto over it. We will be able to stop these dangerous regulations from ever being implemented. Now, last Tuesday, I was back in court to get the right to appeal the ExxonMobil settlement. Judge Hogan stated he will give his opinion October 9th. So far, he has given deference to the Christie administration. That's why we must get before the appellate division. If we're denied the right to appeal, I have another card to play. No surprise, right? An environmental rights action to stop ExxonMobil from reaping a $1 billion gift Governor Christie has given them in this settlement, and putting that $1 billion to work, restoring the wetlands and marshlands that won't be restored because Christie sold out to ExxonMobil for 3 cents on a dollar. That's not going to stand. As long as Governor Christie is in office, there will be threats to the quality of air we breathe, the water we drink, and the land we live, play, and work on. And as long as I hold office in the state of New Jersey, I will fight back and preserve the laws that protect our environment. And if I do get an opportunity to do more, I will make sure New Jersey continues to have the most progressive environmental protection laws in the country. I will start by putting New Jersey back in the Reggie Compact. And make sure our Commissioner of Environmental Protection is more like Lisa Jackson and not at all like Bob Martin. Thank you.